Greetings, folks. This is Scott with the Game Audio Institute, and we are back. It has been a bit of time. We had to go through GDC and everything like that, so I'm actually hitting you post GDC pretty much very, very close to April at this point in time. But, I thought we would revisit our friend Constellation and see what was up and what we needed to do in order to be able to move on to the next level. So let's just get into it. So the last thing that we ended up doing was, let's go back over to here to the bigger item. Yes, there we go. We have figured out how to do the whole thing, right? We got the whole layer working. I've also got a way of being able to interact with the mouse that I can trigger it. It still wants to pan the camera around a little bit every time when I'm in there, so I'm sure I'll figure out a way of disabling that. But for now, it's kind of a pain in the butt, so I can't really drag. If I drag, then the camera's going to move along with it. So I just have to kind of click and then just take that out. And I have wired certain keys so that I can do things. Basically just the space bar. So if I click the space bar, it's going to start playing back. So really, basically, we are at the apportioned point, which we were basically talking about, which was we're very, very close to being able to deal with MetaSounds. And we actually sort of hooked it up to the part of the metronome that played some stuff. But I think that might be a good idea to actually take a look at just starting a MetaSounds connection from scratch and seeing what we can come up with. So I'm thinking that what we probably want to do is make some content, really. And we probably will want to make ourselves a new MetaSound sound source that is not the metronome, right? So there we go. So we'll go add here. We'll scroll down through things that you can't even see. And we will go into sounds. Yeah, and we're going to select MetaSound source. It's a little hard to see, of course. So I want to go and rename that and call it Test Synth. Oh, hang on. I'm trying to search things here. I'll call this Test Synth 01. Okay. So we're going to start this out with basically nothing, effectively. We're going to try and see if we can make some stuff happen. And for that, we want to make ourselves probably an oscillator and then control the volume at least a little bit, I'd say. Let's just see what we can come up with. So inputs, functions, graphs, conversions. These are all individual things. So I'm going to go into oscillators. Or are we going to look for something else besides that? It's not going to be called an oscillator. It's going to be called a generator. Now, I might be able to bring in a value in here so that it would know what it was going to be doing, because otherwise we would likely have to create it's not necessarily going to know what pitch to basically do. Even if it spawns more than one instance of the sound, that pitch is going to have to change based on the row. Right, at least a little bit. We'll have to figure that all out. I'm not exactly sure how we'll do that. We will figure that out as we can. Yeah, so now what we need to do is we need to trigger an envelope of some kind or another. There's the out mono, which we're going to need to do. And let me think about that. All right, so probably what we want to do is come up with an envelope, I would think, which is going to be a function, I would think. Right. So we're going to have an envelope, and this will be just audio. Yeah, not a float value. We're going to do an audio envelope value. I'm going to say on play. Bring that into the trigger. There's our attack time, which is basically good. Again, our out envelope is going to control the modulation. No, would have to control the volume, really. So we'll have to sort of see about how that goes. Like an amplifier, like a VCA probably. Most likely. And then we will have, the frequency will be controlled by something else. So maybe that won't even really be an issue. What we're going to probably want to do is out envelope. Right. Okay. envelope should control some kind of either audio out. I would probably say that there's going to be like some kind of, I think, VCA really, or maybe mixer. Let's see what we got here. A mono mixer. Oh, look at all these different mixers. We're looking for an ability to take the envelope and use it to control volume. Specifically, which I guess we can do, but this audio here would have to come in. I don't think that's right. I think I need a voltage controlled amplifier, and I'm not seeing there. I see a mono mixer. It's not what I'm looking for. Let's go back and check that metronome path. Trigger route mono mixer. Okay, it's 80 envelope float with the gain. Ah, I see. Rather than okay. All right, I see what that's going on. Yeah, so the mono mixer was actually what we wanted. We just wanted a mono mixer that was float and not for the other one. So test synth 01, let's go check that out again. We do need our envelope, but not audio. We need our envelope to be float. That way we can have our mixer. I believe that's the deal, right? 80 envelope. Yeah, because that's coming out with float values. There it is. And it's going into the mono mixer, basically. And the sign in comes in the audio with the trigger. Is there a trigger? No, there's no trigger for the sign. It just automatically plays. There's a bunch of trigger compares. Those I don't think I'm going to need, per se. Or even a trigger counter. I don't think I need any of those things. I just need... Yeah, I don't even think I really need very much there. I think just a trigger input directly into the sign is, or into the trigger control. Trigger control, trigger in, toggle. Yeah, I don't even know if I need that. We'll figure that out. So we're going to go and do this. We're going to set ourselves, I believe this is fine, on play. Unless this is some other thing that I was thinking about, but on play, ding, 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 trigger. The out envelope is going to control the volume of the mixer. And so the mixer was correct. We just want a float mixer, not a regular mixer. Or, well, we do want a mixer. Hang on, functions. No, was it mix? Mono mixer 2. So it's correct. We were just going to control the mixer here with the out envelope. So there, then this becomes the audio here, like so. And then that becomes our output, like so. That, I believe, should do the job. This, by the way, is a default thing that you basically put in here. This is because, like, if you want to, like, say, dispose of the thing, then on finish, you would have it, you know, basically sort of, it's kind of sort of removes itself. So it's a sort of like a one-shot situation that would only play one time. Should be connected for one-shot MetaSound sources for sound sources with undefined duration. Remove the one-shot interface and use an audio component to avoid leaking the source. Interesting. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go to our playhead. That's what actually plays our sound, is our playhead. So we're going to the playhead BP, which is, you know, I covered that in the last video. I covered all that sort of stuff. But what we are going to do, though, is we are going to go to our new MetaSound source, which is being called Test Synth 01. So it'll trigger that out to play Test Synth 01. Now we could potentially put in a pitch multiplier, so we can change the pitch if we want to from here, I suppose, and that might be enough to do the job. And we would just set that pitch multiplier differently for each one, which would mean we would need a variable to put into that variable. I believe that's going to be a float of some kind or another. So we would, you know, give it a variable that we would want to put into that thing and expose that variable to the inspector so that each one of the objects I can set the thing for. Let me go more pitch multiplier and see if we go, if this is 0.5, and see if that comes in an octave lower than what we were going to look at before. And we obviously want to compile, and we want to hit our Start O button. And I'm going to go here and click doot, doot, doot. Something like that, you know, simple thing. Hit the space bar. And there we go. It's a little loud, but there you are. We are doing it, which means we probably don't even need our volume multiplier to be 2.0. We can actually be like 1.0. Wouldn't that be nice? And we can also make our decay values, you know, less as well.